Hello, and welcome back to the Wisdom of Warhammer channel. And today we'll be going over the first captain of the Imperial Fists and the first chapter master of the Black Templars, Sigismund. We'll be going over his origins and his early years of service in the Legion, and then his time during the Horus Heresy and his death. Then we'll finish up with the lessons we can learn from this legendary space marine. But before we begin, I want to say that everything in Warhammer is owned by Games Workshop and Black Library, so go support them. But let us begin. He was born on Terra and was a part of a group of orphans, but during a fight with him and a couple of orphans from his group against a gang called the Corpse Kings, a Thunderhawk hovered above the groups to witness the fight, and Sigismund and the leader of the gang fought. Sigismund won, of course, and the Thunderhawk landed, and a grey-clad angel walked out and took Sigismund for the legions. Sigismund was put in a group of young kids, and they were sent to the gene cults of Luna to be prepared to cross over to become a part of the legions. After he proved himself, he crossed over to become an Adeptus Astartes. He was considered to be a part of the Night Lords and even the Warhounds, but he became a part of the Imperial Fists. After surgery, he met one of his battle brothers, Fafnir Ron, and Sigismund went to war for the first time, along Fafnir Ron, who was an experienced fighter when he met Sigismund. He fought in many wars throughout the galaxy with Fafnir Ron next to him. And he even fought alongside other legions and became friends with Kharn of the World Eaters. Sigismund became a part of the first company, the Templar Brethren, and he became the champion of the company and eventually the best swordsman in the legions. He was also the first captain of the Imperial Fist and equerry of Primarch Rogel Dorn. Now Sigismund was with Dorn when the Imperial Fist encountered the damaged Death Guard ship, the Eisenstein. He boarded the ship with his Primarch, and they encountered the wounded and exhausted crew defended by Captain Nathaniel Garrow and some other Space Marines. This was the time that Sigismund met Rufrati Keeler, a former remembrancer of Horus himself. She introduced Sigismund to the Letico Divinatus and told him about his future. One choice was him dying under an unknown star far away in a dark place alone and unremembered. The second choice was him being next to his father in a war without end. After Sigismund heard this, his unbreakable stoic nature was severely shaken by this conversation. Dorn told Sigismund to take a fleet to Isfahan III to look for survivors, but he requested to stay by his father's side. His father was confused by the request, but he trusted the request and sent Alexis Pollux to Isfahan III while Sigismund, Fafnir Ron, and Dorn returned to Terra. While he was in the Solsticum, he was tasked with hunting down traitors in the system. But when Mars became a war zone, Dorn tasked his son to lead 3 companies to the Red Planet to bring it back under the Loyalist side. Sigismund thought a good time to tell his father about the visions. And when he did, his father became furious. Dorn told his son that the Primarchs and the Space Marines are made to serve and nothing else. He told his son to not speak of the conversation to anyone and move on. Sigismund was disowned by his father, and he would never be called a son of Dorn no matter what would happen. He succeeded at the Red Planet, and they prepared for the final battle of the Horus Heresy. When the battle started, Sigismund was named the first Emperor's champion and was given black armor and the black sword. Sigismund was chosen by the Emperor because the Primarch Dorn personally said that he would be a perfect choice. During the siege of Terra, Sigismund hunted down and killed Chaos champions in the area around the palace, and even fought and killed his former comrade Karn, who became the greatest mortal champion of Khorne. On the final assault, where the Emperor and the Primarchs Dorn and Sanguinius bore the vengeful spirit, in an attempt to kill Horus, Sanguinius died, and the Emperor was crippled from the fight against Horus, and Dorn carried his father to the Golden Throne. After the breaking up of the legions into chapters, Sigismund became the first chapter master of the zealous chapter of the Black Templars. He made an oath that every high marshal renewed what came to be known as crusades, a massive military campaign to take back something. About 500 years later, when Sigismund was patrolling an area near the Eye of Terror, he and his Templars fought the new War Master of Chaos, Abaddon. The two warriors fought, and Sigismund stabbed Abaddon, but the War Master took him and sliced the old Templar in half. But before he died, the Templar hurt the old first captain of the Sons of Horus Ego. He then died, but instead of defiling the corpse of Sigismund, he ordered his men to respectfully send the honorable warrior back to Terra as a message saying that the long war was about to begin. Show that the new War Master held high respect for the old Templar and the Son of Doran. Now that we have gone over some of Sigismund's life, let us discuss the lessons from the zealous warrior of Doran. The first lesson from Sigismund is zeal, and this is having great energy or enthusiasm in pursuit of a cause or objective. The first Captain Sigismund was known to be a zealous warrior for the Imperium, and he believed that war would never end, and the only thing to change was the name of the crusade. He was right, and he also had the mindset of building himself for the wars to come before he died. He became the best swordsman in the Legion, and even Sanguinius said that he was the embodiment of death itself. He learned the way of the blade and built his skills so he can be a good warrior for humanity. The tip for this one is to look at the goal you are looking at and be zealous about it, but don't be overzealous, for that can lead to burnout. Be pragmatic as well, because if you can save the energy from being zealous about a goal and be pragmatic, then the rewards from the goal can be even bigger than you thought. Like in the last video with Dorn, write down the list of things that are crucial to your goal. Use zeal for those instead of doing that for the less crucial things. The second lesson and final lesson is simple but hard. That is letting go of the chains that hold you down as a person and not thinking, just doing. Let me explain that there is a mental state called the flow state, or being in the zone in modern terms. This means that you are so invested in something that your attention to it is 100% on the thing in front of you. Martial artists talk about the flow state, in which they put their focus into a fight or sparring session in which they use the instincts that they have learned, which allows someone to become fully unchained. Sigismund didn't have this before the Horus heresy because he was chained to himself and not letting himself go. This finally happened during the siege of Terra when he fought Karn. He just let go of everything and entered the flow state. He was able to kill his former comrade because he allowed himself to let go. The tips to help you get there is when you are doing a hobby that you have been doing for a while, to slowly but surely let your instincts kick in, and then it will be in the flow state or in the zone. Look at the tasks you are doing and keep doing it the way you've been taught, and repeat it many times until you feel like you can do it without thinking about how you do it. And then just see the results. Here's a simple phrase that you may have heard a lot. Don't think, just do. Now we are at the end of the video on the lessons from Sigismund, the first captain of the Imperial Fist and the first chapter master of the Black Templars. In the next video, we'll be discussing a chapter master of the Crimson Fists, Pedro Cantor. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, hit the like button, the subscribe button when new content drops. I hope you have a good day, and may Doran stand beside you. This is Wisdom of Warhammer, signing off.